Hello there everybody, welcome back to another Train Sim Classic video. You join us on the 1066 line, also known as the Hastings line. We're in the 4 set for this video and we're going to be taking a first look of the version 2 of this route, which has seen quite a few changes to it, which we'll go through on the way. So let's get the train set up. We're in the 4 set, as this route is set in the 90s, sort of network southeast era. Do that, master key, set that to on or neutral. CSR radio, although saying that I don't think it actually tells us what area we're in. No, it doesn't say what area we're in, so we can't really set that one up. You'd just have to put what area you're in and then your signal you're at, and then it would identify what head code you were. But yeah, we don't have anything for that. Cool. Although let's have a look at Tunbridge, because I think there has been some improvements here. There's the Tunbridge, was it Tunbridge West Yard there? You got some, was that postal stuff there, newspapers, express parcels. Oh, we're all good to go already apparently. Have we missed the guard buzzer? I think we missed the guard buzzer. Right, let's go. Hybrams is up next. Oh, we're in the proper sort of oldie version of this. There's not even any lights to it. Not instrument lights. We've not got any route indicator. Oh, it's just that. There we go. No lights. Yeah, this is the. I think this is the Jaffa Cake version of this train. As we head out of Tunbridge. So this is the southeastern main line at the moment. That goes down to Ashford International. We sort of turn off of that and onto the Hastings line straight away. Are we 8 coaches? 8 coaches. Quite a steep uphill gradient as well. Do a little brake test. And power up. Hopefully audio's coming out fairly nicely. Turn that up a bit more. Even more actually. Let's turn it up to that. There you go. Hopefully you can hear that okay. Fingers crossed. Wait for it to load again. There we go. But yeah, this released about a week ago, but I've only just got around to having time to do it, as it's going to be about 1 hour down to Hastings or ish. Then it actually wants you to then go to St Leonards Marina, which is like the depot, but we're not going to do that bit. So let's see. So, well, if you don't know this line, it's 32 miles between Hastings and Tunbridge. So this is the changes for version 2. So you've got new bespoke built station models for all stations on the route except for Tunbridge, where the original model is the Dovetail Games model from the Medway Valley line, I think. Yeah. Relaying of large sections of track to include Kent and Super elevation. That's sort of where you sort of, well, it sort of banks round to one side. Straightening of the route between Hastings and West St Leonards for a more realistic view through the tunnels and stations. What else have we got? Improved signalling placement and functionality. Improved trackside scenery. Just going to check the audio again. Yep, still good. Replacement of all track and scenery at Tunbridge with the equivalent from the Medway Valley line route. Merging technology. Quick drive and existing scenarios updated. 2 new scenarios and inclusion of quick drive AI compatible consists for the Thumper and the 411. So basically it should just look better. Well, it was already an alright looking route, but not the best freeware looking route. It wasn't one of the worst though, it was still pretty good. Get the passenger lights on. Quite an advanced AP train, this one. As we had a cup of tea for our journey as well. Down to down to Hastings, which I don't know what it was like in the 90s. Probably much nicer than today. I think it's one of the most, what do they call it, most deprived towns. One of the most, yeah, deprived seaside towns in the country. As in, yeah, not, well, crime rate's high, not really a nice place to live. Hastings. Cool. Especially St Leonards, that sort of area is not nice. Because I work at the southern end of this route, or at least I work on the trains at the southern end of this route, St Leonards, Hastings, Orway. And St Leonards, it's always, yeah, it's just like, who's going to get on without a ticket here? Who's going to try and, yeah, it's not a nice place. Right, coming up to Highbrooms. I mean, St Leonards Warrior Square is one of the most, probably one of the highest places for fare evasion on the East Coastway route. Because there's no barriers, which it baffles me. It should be barriers at St Leonards Warrior Square. Ticket barriers, that is. It's basically Hastings, well, Hastings West, pretty much. Proper busy, but there's no ticket barriers. So you get a lot of people trying to travel from St Leonards to Hampden Park without a ticket. A lot of nasty people as well. This is Highbrooms, down to the end. Well, I wonder what this line's like. I've been on this line in real life, but I don't work on this line. Only the southern end of it. I'd imagine this route's probably quite a nice one, really, to work on. There's just lots of sort of villages. And quite sort of higher class towns. Like Battle and places like that, sort of where it's a lot more wealthy. As opposed to Hastings, which is all run down. And here we are, this is Highbrooms. And it's Tunbridge Wells after this. And we should be able to see, I don't know if they, I don't know, is it included on here? I think it would have shut by then, but we should see the old branch line down to Tunbridge Wells West, or at least where it was, or just after Tunbridge Wells. Which now goes nowadays goes onto the Spa Valley Railway, or it doesn't exist, but it would go down to the Spa Valley Railway. We'll see it. Right, the 1066 electrics. Must be a pretty hot day. All the windows are open. So I think on this train they're sort of dynamic, so they're sort of, some will be open, some will be shut, but on here they're all open. Must be a boiling summer's day. Got ages there. 59 past would you out of here. Okay. If we see a CSR area change board, we'll plug it into the CSR radio. But for now, I've got no idea what area we're in. So, there's Tunbridge Wells. Yeah, there's the guard. Probably should do a bit of a hill start out of here. Oh, no, we're okay. Hopefully the sound is sort of high enough. It's quite quiet. In fact, yeah, that's one thing about the route. There's no background sound. It's completely quiet. That's what's missing. There you go. There's one thing I noticed already. It's too quiet. Like, the only sounds I can hear are the train sounds. Can't hear bird sounds. I can't hear car sounds. Literally nothing. Just the train I can hear, which makes it completely, well, lifeless. Some more sort of ambient sound would be lovely. Although again, this is a free route, so can't really sort of complain. Yeah, definitely some more ambient sound though. Just over a mile to Tunbridge Wells. And if you'd like to get this route, I'll leave a link for it below. It is free, but there are some requirements for it. Not many. Dovetail Games Chatham Main Line, London to Gillingham, that's the old one. Chatham Main Line and Medway Valley lines. Then you've got to have the new Chatham Main Line route to Ramsgate, the Dovetail Games Town Scenery Pack, the North Somerset Railway, and the AP Sky and Weather EP2. I think some of the other AP bits are sort of recommended, like the tree pack and stuff like that, or the vegetation pack. Which on this route there are a lot of trees. Very foresty area. Then we got a fly on the windscreen there, let's get rid of that. Not too far to Tunbridge Wells. You'll notice a lot of tunnels on this route are single track. Now the reason for that is they used to have sort of special trains because of that. But I think when they built the route originally, they built the tunnels as you know as they were. But then there was like issues with the tunnels, like risk of collapsing and stuff. So they sprayed. Someone's told me before. But yeah, they built the tunnels, as you would, but then there was an issue with them, so they had to, I suppose, reinforce the tunnels, which meant there was less room for trains. So originally what they did, it was still double track, but they had specially designed, like, skinny trains, the Hastings Thumpers, or the Hastings Diesel. But then when it got electrified, instead of just doing a whole separate train, they just sort of single tracked it through the tunnel. Something like that. There, a little bit further. People were probably already getting out the train. It's probably quite dangerous to do this as opposed to nowadays, but there we go. This is Tunbridge Wells, which is quite a sort of cool station, sort of tucked away sort of in this little cutting here between the two tunnels. Really nice station though. Cool. This is Tunbridge. Oh, you got a little bit of ambient sound here. Yeah, there's a bit of life here. But at Highbrooms it was completely just silent. Yeah, you can hear stuff here. And it'll be Wadhurst next. So we're skipping out Frant. Yeah, I think Frant, we're skipping that out. I think it's Frant, Wadhurst, Stonegate, Etchingham, Robertsbridge, Battle, Crowhurst, West St Leonards and St Leonards Warrior Square. I think that's the order of the stations on here. I don't know this route Hudless. I'd like to learn it Hudless. We just don't do it enough. As in playing like this, with none of the bits on. Come on, let's get out of here. Let's up Wadhurst. I think first time I did this route I called it Wadhurst. Wadhurst. I thought it might be Wadhurst. Oh, how wrong was I? Right, let's go. Oh, let's turn up the motor factor. What was it? Shift and M. There you go, turn that right up. Means the train's a lot noisier. Which is what we want. So after this tunnel, yeah, we should see the remains of the Tunbridge Wells West, or at least the line which went off to Tunbridge Wells West. Which did sort of curl off quite soon after the tunnel here, I think. So we're going to single track here for this bit. That's it there, yeah. That there, literally right after the tunnel. So that came off here, goes round into another tunnel, which I assume is probably underneath all this undergrowth here. And it goes through here to Tunbridge Wells West, which is where modern day you've got the Spa Valley Railway, or the Spa Valley line, which then goes to Eridge. I think you've got High Rocks, Tunbridge, and then Eridge on there. Quite a nice heritage railway, because you can then pick a southern train up from Eridge and go to either Uckfield or up to London London Bridge, East Croydon way. Lovely. But I think that line modern day would be very hard to reinstate between Tunbridge Wells Central and Tunbridge Wells West. There's this big sort of supermarket in the way now, where the railway used to run. And other buildings. There's a single track through the tunnel there. That's a sort of skinnier tunnels than normal. But yeah, I think they were built for a double track, but then I think they had to reinforce them in some way, so it sort of slimmed it down a bit. Right, test the audio again, because it's probably a bit noisier now. I think we're okay. You'll notice all the scenery disappears. That's just a TSC thing. And one thing you might be thinking, why are we not using the TSC X controller, the new Train Sim controller we have? It's a bit finicky with Train Sim Classic. Like, it's quite hard to set up for Train Sim Classic. So if anyone has any controller presets, do send them over. Whereas TSW it's easy to use, but TSC it's a bit more tricky. Absolutely fly through Fran. Let's get a flyby shot through Fran. So we're kind of absolutely whizzing through it. Although we do need to be aware we've got the 60 coming up. Nice, and you drop right down and then down to 60. So we'll get the brakes on now. Going to the seaside. One in for a 60. Yeah, very hilly, windy route this one. Very hilly and windy. And it always feels like it goes on forever, this route as well. Well, the cool thing about this route, or at least this line, you can now do the full thing from London to Hastings in the game, utilising Nicholas's southeastern network route, which gives you the modern day line down to Tunbridge, and then jump onto this one for 90s down to Hastings. So you can do sort of the full journey, just across two different eras. Got the horn on this. Anyone ever travel on this line in a 411? Nowadays it's all just electro stars on here, and I think the networkers go down as far as Tunbridge Wells on peak time services. The networkers being the 465s and 466s. Now coming up to Wadhurst. Cool. Lovely. And in real life on this route, I believe there is a service every hour. Well, there's a fast service every hour and a slow service every hour. So I suppose for some stations there's 2 trains per hour, but for some there's just 1 per hour. Because you get the fast one which goes up, and then about 20 minutes later you get the slow one which goes up, and then there's like a big gap until the fast one. So it's not like a busy route, but then it doesn't really serve many big places really. Here we are. So the only big places on the route are Tunbridge Wells, Battle, and, well, Hastings. Everywhere else is sort of small. There's a double-decker bus there going to the city. That's a London bus. What's it doing down here? It's lost. Rail replacement, maybe. There's even like it's even a Volvo Gemini bus in the 1990s. Potentially realistic, just. For the Gemini 1. Etchingham next in 8 miles. So we're skipping out Stonegate. Oh. Yeah, it was 2. Right, hang on. Oh, we're still forward. Tiny little horn on here. Let's go, 8 miles. Apologies everyone, got a bit of a cold coming on at the moment, so you keep seeing me do that, trying to prevent sneezing. It's just great, you work for like, 7 days in a row, got my nice 5 days off which I'm on now, get a blooming cold, it's like cheers. Then I'll be better by the time we get back to work, then process repeats. As in real life, I'm a train guard in real life, just don't do the doors. It's a mix with a lot of people every day. That's how I know Hastings, St Leonards, that area is not really nice. So let me show you the route map as well. It says Tunbridge up there. And yeah, it's very windy. Down to was that Mountfield there? Yeah, Mountfield there. You've got a little quarry there. And yeah, Hastings down here. Although I wonder, I wonder if they'd ever add ore to this route. I don't know if back in the 90s, sort of there would have been services down the 1066 line into ore. Or whether that actually was electrified. Maybe that wasn't electrified in the 90s. Maybe not. Because realistically, there's a few, I think 2 or 3 southeastern services which go down into ore, and then also vice versa, go from ore up to London Cannon Street, I believe. But then yeah, perhaps in the 90s that bit wasn't electrified. Because beyond Hastings you then go on to the Marsh Link route, Which takes you up to Rye and then Ashford International, that sort of way. The 80 coming up, it's quite sort of a fast-ish route, this one, not a slow one, sort of a mix of speeds. Look at that, beautiful. What a pleasure it must have been travelling on these trains. Do they beat the Electrostars? Although the 37 of the Southeastern Electrostars are actually really nice. Very well maintained and very clean and presentable. Yeah, I like the 375s. Very comfy as well. A certain other top could take notes at Southeastern, or of Southeastern, or from Southeastern. As yeah, on the modern day Southeastern fleet of the 375, some of the sort of seats on their Electrostars, they're so comfy. They got like extra back support to them, really nice. Really, really nice. We got Stonegate coming up. I suppose what would your marker be for that? I suppose it's 90. Would that be too close? Apologies, everyone. No, I'm not stopping at Stonegate. Well, I suppose you could use the 90 as a marker. Well, you have to be quite sharp on the brakes. Yeah, I mean, it's actually right there. A little bit before. Absolutely fly through it. Lovely. It's another little village. Oh yeah, this is known as the 1066 line because, well, Hastings, which is a battle literally is where the site of the Battle of Hastings took place. In 1066. Yeah, it's quite fast. Been on this route a couple of times in real life. I think both of them going in the down direction. So you have a nice shot of the train. Like a very sort of picturesque, prototypical when you think of the England, sort of rolling hills, green fields of the Garden of England. Because this line sort of crosses between Kent and East Sussex quite a bit. Like Hastings is in East Sussex, but then Tunbridge Wells, I believe, is in Kent. So it sort of goes backwards and forth between the two. It basically just straddles the border, almost, this line, between East Sussex and Kent. Right, not too far to Etchingham. I think after that's Robertsbridge, isn't it? Yeah, Robertsbridge, which is very close. They're literally 2 minutes apart. Robertsbridge is where you have the well, it's where the East Sussex Kent Railway. No, the KESA, the Kent and East Sussex Railway. That's what they want to extend to, Robertsbridge from Bodiam. Another heritage railway link up with the main line. Not sure if they've done it yet. I don't think so. Yeah, another lost line which used to join up here. Well, no, Roberts Bridge. Let's get an external arrival shot. Because you'll see the doors opening before we've actually even come to a stop. I think about sort of 5 miles an hour they start opening. Yeah, if you keep an eye on those doors. Well, I was saying at that time, no one opened it. Must be a quiet service. But they tend to sort of click open at about sort of under 5 miles an hour. But no one was in a rush. Obviously for this, for getting out here. In the sleepy place of Etchingham, probably not a lot goes on. And Roberts Bridge up next. I think we've all sat on one of these benches, haven't we? You don't really see many of these anymore, though. Most of them are sort of now gone, replaced by, well, more modern benches, more modern, comfier seating. Quite snug in the platform as well. What a lovely service though, lovely time of day, lovely, well it's in summer as well, lovely. And yeah, you'll find this route on backdated train sim, who do a lot of sort of, well, backdated stuff. Another good one's the North London line, sort of backdated I think to the 1980s. And also part of, you get the St Albans Abbey branch line, the Croxley branch on the Watford, comes off at Watford Junction and then Watford High Street and goes off Watford Stadium, sort of up that way. So it's quite nice getting the backdated stuff. Yeah, a lot of allowance, don't you, at these stops? So it's been about what, half hour now since Tunbridge, Roberts Bridge next. Let's go, there's a signal box. Probably gone, long gone now. Probably replaced by some sort of central signal box somewhere. Only 2 miles to Roberts Bridge. Get a few little shots of it. Nice. Get the HUD back on. Apologies again, everybody. Try and get another photo when it opens up a bit. And the sort of sun's on a good side of us. About here, that might work. Hang on. There we go, that's what we want. back in. And after Robertsbridge, it's just Battle, St Leonards, and then Hastings. Hastings in about 25 minutes. Yeah, we're not going to go into the depot though. But we'll fly over to it once we get down to sort of West St Leonards, just have a little look-see. Get the brakes on. Yeah, we should see the old remains of the line off to, well, Bodiam and then Tenterden. Tenterden? It's a funny place, Tenterden. And I think that also went off to, I think that went off to Ashford eventually. Tenterden, that's how you say it. Oh. Is it right down to the end here? And in real life, you've got like a little heritage centre here as well, sort of on where this bay platform is. Cool, and here we are at Robertsbridge. That'll do. So yeah, you should be able to see the remains of the old line. I assume, yeah, just here, yeah. Quite tight coming off here. And over that way. Seems like old goods yard here as well. I think that line shut quite early though, as opposed to some which were sort of in the 60s. Next up, Battle. We're going to Battle. Well, train and part. There we go. And we're off. Well, whereabouts are we now then? We are up there still. So distance wise, we're what? Just over halfway? Battle's all the way down here. Cool. Well, at least we're on time. Well, actually, I said it right, about 30 seconds behind schedule at the moment. ETA 18:34:22. 5.5 miles. Got a fifth. I'd imagine this tunnel coming up might be one of those single track ones. The speed comes down to 50 for it. That's where you got the little, yeah, Mountfield branch coming off here. There's a little quarry. But yeah, if you haven't made it this far in the video, thanks all for staying in. If you're enjoying it, feel free to leave a thumbs up, and if you want to see more, feel free to subscribe. I would like to get back to Train Sim Classic, as we've had a bit of a break from it. So we did all of that Wherry line stuff and then sort of stopped when TSW6 came out. down. There we go. Yeah, another single track one. Yeah, it's one of those routes which just feels like it goes on forever. Like, even though it's only what, an hour, still quite long, an hour journey. It feels like it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't know, just yeah, it feels very long. That's probably a good thing though. I don't want sort of the route to be over and done with in a flash. There's the Mountfield Quarry there, or Mountfield Quarry branch. Up to 65. Whistle boards along here. Another one coming out. Right, foot crossing along here somewhere. Oh, there we go, just there. Well, level crossing, that one. And up to 80, which will be nice. We'll just keep it in power, I think. Or is that going to be too... yeah, it's going to be too soon. Only just. Power up now. You've actually got the horns on the roof on this train as well, as nowadays they're sort of tucked under here. Front and centre. Just wish we had more of this stuff on TSW. I always mention TSW in these videos. Yeah, imagine having a 4-sep or a 4-vep or something like that in TSW. A 421, a 422, a 423, a 411, a 412, any of those old school slam door trains. Right, not too far to Battle now. We've got just over 1.5 miles. Quite surprised this route doesn't have semaphores in the 90s, because the East Coastway route, which is the one we join up at on at Bo Peep Junction, that still had semaphores. I think until about the 20, or at least Eastbourne to Brighton still had semaphores, or Eastbourne to Lewis, it still had semaphores until about I think 2010 or so. I'm surprised there's not more semaphores on this route. There is at Hastings. Yeah, it's sort of all colour light. Turn off. And here we are, coming up to Battle, on the curb as well. I suppose the giveaway would be all of the houses showing up. Here we are, staggered platforms as well. And down to the end. Bit of a gradient as well coming into here. Oh, that's flat. Ignore that. I thought it was a little bit uphill, but no, it's flat here. Right, that'll do. Yeah, this is Battle. Just about in the platform as well. And off the St Leonards Warrior Square in 6 miles. Which on this actually is 6 miles, whereas on TSW it does it as if you were just a bird going in a straight line. On here it actually does measure track distance. And 6 and a bit miles to Hastings, which is where we will end. Right, St Leonards Warrior Square next stop. Yeah, because if you look on here, say where it says St Leonards, that it says 10 miles, because it's measuring how long it is to get to Hastings and then back to St Leonards. So that would be 10 miles. I'm not sure why it does it on here, but not on TSW. Oh, now it's uphill, 1 in 87, or was for a second there. That's a 1 in 919. And down to 60. So yeah, we're passing through Crowhurst and West St Leonards. Stations we don't get the privilege of stopping at. Then somewhere along here, I think after Crowhurst, you then had another branch line which went off down to Bexhill. But it wasn't Bexhill main station it went into, it was like Upper Bexhill or something it used to go into. .55 coming up. Nice. Yeah, nice chilled out journey though. Yeah, nice to see this route has had an update. Another sort of route I'd like to see updated, which hasn't been updated in quite a lengthy amount of time, is the Sutton and Mole Valley line, which has sort of sat there dormant on ATS for ages. Here's Crowhurst. I don't know if there used to be some sort of line in the middle here. It's like Havant Station, where you've just got the big gap in the middle, and Cheam as well. Used to be some sort of siding here in the middle, maybe. In fact, actually, here you've got some sort of bay platform there. Wow, and the one there as well. Huh. Maybe that's where the line, used to go, or maybe that's where the trains from the other Bexhill station used to come up to. Terminate there. I'm just trying to see if we can spot where the old line used to go off. I'm pretty certain there used to be the other line down to another Bexhill station. I don't think it was called Upper Bexhill or Bexhill North. It was just another station in Bexhill. Can't remember what it was called though. Down to 1 in 113 here, so quite steep. We've got 25, which is probably just for West St Leonards. the front. I think the 20 is probably where Bo Peep Junction is. Down to 1 in 95 now, so getting really steep actually. Still looking out for where that line went off, maybe we missed it. Probably would have been by now, wouldn't it? Down to Bexhill. One for a 25. Yeah, it's coming out to West St Leonards now. And then that's where we join up with the East Coastway. But sadly we don't have the bit between Bo Peep Junction and East or Hampden or Willingdon Junction in any game. Because we've got East Coastway on Trenton Well between Brighton and Eastbourne, but we don't have the bit from Willingdon Junction to Bo Peep Junction. Lots of flange coming around here. Still down 1 in 100 here. A very sharp sort of left-hand curve here coming up. Some sort of school here. Well, looks like it. Round, down and round we go. Then we then go into, was it St Leonards Tunnel? Here's West St Leonards. There's a signal box right in the middle, and then you get the East Coastway, which we join up to. For the final leg into Hastings, which is all basically in tunnels. Yeah, Bo Peep Junction. Well, let's fly over to if it lets us. This is the depot here at West St Leonards or St Leonards Marina. There you go. Here's the depot. So that's where it wants us to drive at the end, but we're not going to do that. There's a thumper there, and yeah, there's the well, this is the East Coastway. This is literally like this is what the East Coastway looks like going over to Eastbourne. And the next station over that way would be Bexhill. Anyway, that's that. That's there used to be an old station there as well. Interesting. No remains of that nowadays. Right, let's get in there. If you wanted to do like if anyone here lives in London, or even if you live anywhere on the sort of route, you could do a big circle. If you literally wanted just to do a day out on the trains, you could go from say Hastings or anywhere you live on this circle, Hastings up to that's what we call what East Croydon, Hastings up to Victoria, no up to East Croydon, change for a Thames link up to or Southern up to London Bridge, and then come back down to Hastings via Tunbridge. Big sort of circular. Or even go Hastings up to Gatwick, Gatwick to Red Hill to Tunbridge, and then Tunbridge back to Hastings. It's like a day out on the trains. Cool. We've got 45 after St Leonards Warrior Square. That's quite not generous. And St Leonards is a bit like Tunbridge Well, sort of squidged in between the tunnels in a cutting. I wonder if when they originally built this tunnel, I wonder if it actually just went all the way through to Hastings to begin with. Or I wonder if that actually was like a little natural dip here where they sort of dug out and then put the station in. Or did they sort of have to dig all of this out as well? But it's quite steep sort of either side. Well, actually, apart from that side, that bit's not steep. This is Warrior Square. No one calls it St Leonards Warrior Square. It's just weird. Whenever someone wants a ticket, it's like Warrior Square Bexhill. That's like the main one, Warrior Square Bexhill. Where you going? Warrior Square. Sandwiched in between the tunnels. Literally just about in. And then into the dark tunnel, which actually, hang on, is it filled up? Well, that's obviously an issue there. Look, the tunnel's filled up. Can't get through, that's the end of the video. Even the camera doesn't want to get in. Until 48 past. We've got 2 minutes here. This station's basically the same as how it is nowadays, although this doesn't exist anymore, this little area here. And the stairs are a lot wider now as well. Ticket office is in there. Oh, I'm telling you, you don't get these buildings anymore either. The only building which remains is this bit here. The canopy goes on to about here, but none of this, I don't think any of this is there anymore. What is this whole wall here isn't there. See, architecturally, in real life, it looks really nice. You sort of, you know, you're on the train here, stops here, you look out, and there's like a metal fence here. You look out, and all the buildings look wonderful. Yeah, really nice architecture style, Regency. For when Hastings and St Leonards was a very resort towns. They're very sort of wealthy as well. Whereas nowadays, yeah, then I wouldn't bother going to St Leonards or Hastings. Nasty places. Sorry to anyone who lives in St Leonards or Hastings, but yeah, they're not really nice places. Go to Brighton instead. That's still okay. Well, to be honest, most seaside towns aren't really, or ex-seaside resort towns aren't really any nice anymore. Same if you go out west, Bognor, Littlehampton, Worthing, they're all just not nice places, as opposed to how they used to be. You know, where you used to have people pouring in, spending money from sort of London, whereas now, just fly to Ibiza or Spain. Which a lot more people do than go to the beach in Hastings. Right, let's get going. Yeah, that's the issue with a lot of ex-seaside resort towns. People just would rather go abroad and get sun instead of go to Littlehampton or Worthing. So they sort of become all run down. Well, I think Bexhill is still a rather nice place. Bexhill, there's some sort of, yeah, some nice-ish places. Bexhill's alright. But yeah, Bexhill, Brighton, sort of those two are sort of still nice enough. This is Hastings, which is a fairly sort of big-ish station. You got semaphore signals here as well, or at least on the at the ore end of the station. Welcome to Hastings. Well, that is going to be it, everybody, once we come to a stop here. Hopefully everybody has enjoyed the video. And yeah, nice work from Backdated Train Sim to bring an updated version of this route out. Nice to see. Was it down to the end? Oh, not quite. Why is it not doing the AWS? Oh, it is good. Camera went a bit funny, but here we are. This is Hastings. Well, that is going to be it, everybody. Hopefully everyone's enjoyed it. Links, usual places, Discord, PayPal, merch store, as well as our affiliate link to UK departure boards. Anyone guess what station it's on? Even though it's quite hard to see where the mic is. See you all, and take care. Bye, guys.